Hello, everyone. Welcome to the director's commentary for Mime Against Humanity. I'm the guy that made this movie, and we're coming up on the second anniversary of it coming out, so I thought I would do a director's commentary. Mime Against Humanity, that was a fun one to work on. It was for my Production 2 class in film school, and I almost did a comedy, but I needed something to stand out because a lot of other people were doing dramas and stuff, but I needed to do something different. So that's where Mime Against Humanity came from. It's probably the hardest time I've had coming up with a title for something because I don't know what you name a mime movie. I mean, you could call it like The Mime or something stupid like that. It was almost named Silent but Deadly, but for obvious reasons, I ended up not going with that. But I was very, very, very close. And Mime Against Humanity is kind of a play on crime against humanity, and it's also a mime versus humanity. So that's my amazing friend Carlos. I think the character's name is Mark. I honestly can't remember the character names, but it was a reference to The Room, which is one of my favorite movies. That's my friend Gabby as Schwartz. I don't know why her name is Schwartz, but it is. And also in the cast, we have my amazing friends Amuna, Sophia, and Christian, rounding out the rest of our cast. This very much felt like my Adam Sandler movie, where I have all this stuff, all this equipment, and I get to go out and make a movie with my friends. And we had a really good time. We shot this all in 10 hours, not 12 hours, 10 hours. Crazy long day, very hectic. Things were constantly changing. Like we were supposed to get our equipment a couple days before the shoot, but we ended up not getting it till like 7 in the morning, and then call time was at like 9. So I was exhausted that day. Everybody was, but me mostly. And I'm proud of it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was kind of corny and goofy, like I wanted. And that's my amazing friend Daniel as the mime. He also voiced Craig in my thesis project, which I'll have to get out there soon. Carlos was also in that. And Daniel is just one of those guys that I love working with because he just puts 110% in every role. And I was like, hey man, I need you to come play a mime. And he came ready. He had the beret, he had the striped shirt, and the suspenders, and he just killed it. There would be times where I was rehearsing with other actors, and I'd just see Daniel doing mime motions and stuff. It was so much fun. And I don't know why, but I felt like I needed a character who was like crazy excited about mimes, and that's where Schwartz came from. And I also needed some way to establish that you can interact with the mime. Like, that's kind of how you interact with him. And I don't think that really stuck the landing well near the end, but I needed to lay that down. And I don't know exactly where the idea of him killing people with the weapons came from. I think it was just to make him stand out a little bit. And also that scene was the first stunt I've ever done in one of my short films. That technically counts as a stunt because she fell on a crash pad. Also, my friend Amuna, who just died, you can hear her off screen. We actually shot her death scene, but in editing, we just could not make it work. It was something that was really hard to pull off in editing. And in shooting, it was also very hard. But she was going to get lassoed. She had an extra line. I think it's still in there somewhere. But we ultimately had to cut that or reduce it to a scream. And that's one of my favorite moments right there, is him just waiting at the door for someone to open it. Because I like to imagine he's very polite and he has manners, even though he kills all these people. Yeah, and then he picks up an invisible bat or whatever you want to imagine it to be, and he kills her. This was also one of my favorite scenes to film because this is where my buddy Christian really locked in, and he got it. And it was just so much fun to shoot. I love how he pulls up the knife, and oh god, I love Daniel's walk. And that was one of my favorite ideas I came up to with too, was the turning on the invisible water. And that glare is just perfect. And then we go into our climax of the film. Yeah, he slams the invisible door. I should have added a sound effect. I almost added a sound effect of a door closing to emphasize that, because that's how he's realizing you go against the mime by interacting with it. And my director of photography, Christian Mankey, suggested doing a Shining reference, so we were very excited to do that. Also, I don't know if you hear the awful, awful music, but I ended up doing the score for this movie because I kind of wanted an old 1940s monster movie feel to it. And I did my best to replicate that, even though I can't play music to save my life. And this movie almost had sound effects, but I feel it works better silent. And then he goes bang. Yeah, originally he was supposed to just fall dramatically, but Daniel hit the ground hard, and it was just so much better than him like dramatically falling down. So that's the move I went with. And gosh, this ending is probably one of my favorite endings I've put together. Just the idea that it like carries over to the next victim, and like that cycle continues. Like it's just a never-ending cycle. You're never gonna escape the mime. I was really proud of that one. Maybe there will be a sequel someday. I don't know if Carlos will ever want to put that makeup on again, but maybe there's a sequel. I almost made a feature-length movie based off of this, but it never really clicked, and I think it's just stuck living as this 9-minute short film I did in film school. I'm really proud of it. There are obviously some things I wish I could go back and do a bit differently, but I am just so grateful for my cast, especially Carlos. Carlos is one of my favorite people I've worked with. Same with Daniel. Getting all my friends to come in. It was just a blast. I'm not gonna forget that day anytime soon, even though that was like 2 years ago. That's crazy how much time has flown. And I've done a few other short films after this, but this is by far one of my favorites. My amazing editor Noe, Ariel, who did some Foley work with me, some that made it in, some that didn't. Again, I gotta shout him out. Yeah, it is Mark. Yeah, I thought I had changed that, because I had a whole line where Schwartz says, "Oh hi Mark," as a reference to The Room, but that was cut, so I wasn't sure if I had changed the name. I should honestly know my character names. Remy is a Ratatouille reference. I really wanted to end it with the Festin from Ratatouille, but copyright. And then Gabby. Gabby was great. She had such a fun time. I had a fun time working with her. The idea to have... I keep forgetting I have that shot of Christian. You can see him as Mark's walking out and getting stuck in that invisible box. You can actually see Christian still in the sink, and Amuna. I liked the idea of having all of them dead, and that's the credits. I almost just stuck with a black screen, but I really wanted to keep that in there. Yeah, shout out to Jessica, Mankey, Noe, Javier was my second AC. Thank you, Javier. Walter. Gosh, Walter, I don't know if you still watch my stuff, but I love you, man. I miss you. Clarissa, Colin, Zafiro, Jessica with the amazing makeup. And there goes our post-credit scene tease. Richard, James. Yeah, all these amazing people that helped me make my stupid little mime movie. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching Mime Against Humanity. I will see you in the next one.